The Marine blinks 3 times. No one sees it, except the dogs. His wrists burn where the duct tape cuts skin. The taste of copper fills his mouth, blood from a split lip he doesn't remember getting. Through a crack in the window shade, he watches the rest stop shimmer in afternoon heat. Concrete, scrub brush, a faded picnic table that leans like it's tired of holding itself up. The engine idles beneath him. Vibrations travel up his spine in steady waves. He's been awake for hours, or maybe minutes. Time moves differently when you can't move at all. He forces his breathing to slow. In through the nose, out through cracked lips, the way they taught him when panic was just another enemy to defeat. His ribs ache. His shoulders scream from being twisted behind him for too long. But his eyes still work. And that might be enough. The vehicle rocks slightly as a door opens, closes. Footsteps crunch on gravel, moving away. He counts them. 12 steps. Then, silence. Through the crack of light, shapes emerge from the heat haze. 3 dogs. They move across the parking lot like smoke. Low, purposeful, silent. No barking, no whining. They flow between cars with the kind of coordination that makes him think of patrol formations. The lead dog stops first, head lifting, nostrils flaring. Its coat is the color of desert sand mixed with charcoal. Ribs press against fur. Muscles coil beneath dusty skin. The second dog paces a wider arc, nose to the ground, reading stories written in scent. Smaller than the first. Quicker. Its ears swivel independently, tracking sounds he can't hear. The third hangs back, youngest of the pack. Energy vibrates through its frame like electricity looking for ground. Its eyes are bright, almost amber in the sun. The Marine's pulse changes. Not faster, sharper. He's seen dogs in Fallujah, Kabul, places where animals learned to read danger before humans did, where survival meant paying attention to things that didn't make sound. These 3 carry that same alertness. The lead dog's gaze sweeps the lot, passes over the SUV, returns, locks on the rear window, on the crack of light, on him. Their eyes meet through tinted glass and shadow. The Marine makes his decision in the space between heartbeats. He has no voice, no movement, no weapon except the one thing they haven't taken from him: intention. He steadies his head against the seat, fixes his eye on that crack of light. On the dog that watches him with an intelligence that makes his chest tighten. And he blinks. Once. Twice. 3 times. Deliberate. Measured. The pattern they drilled into him during CR training, when every other form of communication had been stripped away. A signal so simple a child could miss it. So specific only someone looking would see it. The dog's ears flick forward. It doesn't look away. For 3 seconds, nothing happens. The heat presses down. The engine hums. Somewhere inside, the rest stop building. A door opens and closes. The world continues, like it doesn't know a man is dying in the back of a stolen SUV. Then the lead dog sits, not the casual settling of a stray looking for shade. This is deliberate, formal. It plants itself 10 feet from the vehicle and goes absolutely still. Only its eyes move, holding the Marine's gaze through that sliver of light. The second dog stops pacing, lifts its head, looks where the first is looking. The third moves closer, slower now, reading something in the air that has no name. The Marine's throat closes. He blinks again. Slower this time. Weaker. And the lead dog's tail twitches once. Not a wag, an acknowledgement. Someone is coming back. Footsteps. Closer now. The Marine can't turn his head far enough to see, but he hears the rhythm change from casual to purposeful. Keys jingle. A phone buzzes. A voice mutters something about traffic and timing. The dogs don't run. They shift position like chess pieces moving into formation. The lead stays planted. The second circles left. The third drifts right, low to the ground. Muscles tensed. The Marine closes his eyes and prays to a god he stopped believing in somewhere between his second tour and his third. Not for himself, for the dogs to understand what he's asking. Notice me. See what they don't want you to see. Be the witness I can't be. The vehicle door opens. Light floods in from the front. A shadow falls across the center console. The man slides into the driver's seat and pulls the door shut with controlled force. Not a slam, but not gentle either. Efficient. Practiced. The Marine goes limp, plays unconscious, lets his head loll against the window. Through his eyelashes, he watches the lead dog rise to its feet. It takes one step toward the SUV, then another. The man in the front seat adjusts the mirror, checks his phone, doesn't look back. Doesn't notice the 3 sets of eyes now fixed on his vehicle like targeting lasers. The engine revs. The Marine's heart drops. No, not yet. Not before someone sees. But the lead dog is already moving. It crosses the remaining distance in 4 strides and sits again, this time directly beside the driver's door. Close enough to touch. Close enough to be impossible to ignore. The man glances down. His jaw tightens. He waves a hand dismissively, the way people do when animals inconvenience them. The dog doesn't move, doesn't blink, doesn't break eye contact with the window where the Marine lies bound and bleeding and praying. Inside the rest stop building, a woman sets down a coffee pot and looks outside. She sees the dogs. She sees the SUV. She sees something she can't name yet. Something in the way stillness can scream louder than sound. The Marine blinks again. This time, he's not sure who he's signaling, but he knows someone is finally watching. Training saved his life 7 times before today. He's counting on 8. The memory comes in fragments, sharp as broken glass. The schoolhouse in North Carolina. The instructor with the scar that split his eyebrow. The windowless room where they learned to communicate when words became weapons used against them. "You won't have Morse code," the instructor said, pacing between metal chairs. "You won't have hand signals. They'll take everything except what's in here." He tapped his temple. "And here." He tapped his chest. "So we teach you the language that predates all others. The one every human understands, even if they've forgotten they know it." The Marine remembers laughing, thinking it was psychological bullshit dressed up as tactics. He's not laughing now. The SUV sits motionless in the parking lot. The man in the front seat scrolls through his phone, thumb moving in steady swipes. His neck is tense. His shoulders carry the kind of rigidity that comes from doing something you've done before, something that requires focus, but not fear. This isn't his first time. The Marine catalogs details the way he was taught. Visible tattoo on the man's left forearm, geometric pattern, possibly gang-affiliated. Watch on the right wrist, expensive. Contradicts the worn seat covers. Phone case is cracked, but the phone itself is new. Contradiction. Someone trying to blend in, but carrying status symbols they can't abandon. Professional. Or trying to be. The duct tape around the Marine's wrists has loosened slightly from sweat. Not enough to slip free, enough to feel the ghost of possibility. He tests the binding with microscopic movements, feeling for weak points. The tape holds. His ankles are worse, wrapped so tight his feet went numb an hour ago. Or 3 hours. Time is a smear of heat and pain. But his face is untaped. His eyes are free. That was their mistake. The lead dog remains beside the driver's door. It hasn't moved since sitting. Its stillness is the kind that makes people nervous without knowing why. The way a stopped clock feels wrong, even when you're not looking at it. The second dog has circled to the rear of the SUV. It moves in tight figure eights, nose low, pausing every few seconds to lift its head and sample the air. Searching for something. Finding it. Confirming it. The third dog, the youngest, sits at the edge of the lot where pavement meets scrub. It watches everything. Its tail is tucked. Its ears are pinned back, not in fear, but in focus. They're waiting. The Marine realizes it with a clarity that cuts through the fog of dehydration and pain. These dogs aren't scavenging, aren't begging. They're working. He blinks again. The signal is weaker now. His eyelid feels heavy, like there's sand beneath it. But he forces the pattern. 1, 2, 3. The lead dog's ears snap forward. It turns its head fractionally toward the rear window, toward the crack where light leaks through. Its eyes narrow. The Marine holds his breath. Inside his chest, something twists. Hope is too strong a word. Desperation is too weak. This is the space between. The moment when outcome balances on the edge of a coin that hasn't landed yet. The man in the front seat sighs, sets down his phone, reaches for the gear shift. No. The Marine's mind screams what his mouth can't. His body jerks involuntarily, a spasm of protest that sends pain shooting through his shoulders. He gasps, can't help it. The sound is small, muffled, but in the confined space, it's a gunshot. The man's hand freezes on the gear shift. His eyes flick to the rearview mirror. The Marine goes limp, forces his breathing shallow, plays dead, or close enough. 5 seconds of silence. 10. The man's hand moves again. Slower now. He adjusts the mirror, angling it down toward the back seat. Toward the tarp-covered shape that used to be a human being with a name and a rank and a family that's probably filing a missing persons report right now. The Marine doesn't move, doesn't breathe, becomes a corpse in everything but pulse. The mirror tilts back up. The man mutters something, not words, just sound, and puts the vehicle in drive. Outside, the lead dog stands. It moves in front of the SUV, plants itself in the path of the vehicle, sits again. This time, facing the windshield directly. The man leans forward, peers through the glass. His expression shifts from annoyance to confusion. He revs the engine, a warning. The dog doesn't flinch. The second dog appears on the passenger side. It rises on its hind legs, paws pressed against the window, nose leaving fog circles on the glass. Its mouth is open. No sound comes out. But the shape of it is wrong. Too wide, too tense. The man swears, loud enough for the Marine to hear. He honks the horn. The sound splits the air. Birds scatter from the roof of the rest stop building. A woman inside drops something. The clatter of metal on tile carries through open doors. The lead dog doesn't move. The horn blares again. Longer this time. Angry. The youngest dog bolts toward the building. It skids to a stop at the entrance, turns and barks, once, sharp and high, then runs back. Repeats the pattern. Building, SUV. Building. SUV. The Marine's vision blurs. He's crying. Doesn't realize it until wetness slides past his temple into his hair. His throat is raw. His chest heaves with breaths he can't control anymore. The lead dog lifts one paw, places it down, lifts it again, places it down. 3 times. Deliberate. Measured. A pattern. Inside the rest stop, the woman moves to the window. She wipes her hands on a towel. Slow. Automatic. Her gaze tracks from the dogs to the SUV to the dogs again. The man in the front seat sees her looking. His hand moves to his jacket. Inside pocket. The motion is smooth. Practiced. Wrong. The Marine's pulse spikes. He knows that movement. Knows what comes next. He's seen it in Ramadi, in Kandahar, in the places where survival meant recognizing threat before it had time to form words. He screams inside his own head. No sound escapes. Just breath and blood and the wet copper taste of failure. The lead dog turns its head toward the building, toward the woman. Their eyes lock across 30 feet of asphalt and heat shimmer. The dog stands, takes 1 step forward, stops, looks back at the SUV, at the Marine, at the crack of light. Then it does something the Marine doesn't expect. It sits again, lifts its paw, and places it against the driver's door 3 times in rapid succession. Tap, tap, tap. The sound is soft, almost nothing. But in the stillness of the lot, it carries like a drumbeat. The woman's head tilts. Her hand moves to her phone. The man in the front seat sees the motion. His face changes. The mask slips. Underneath is something cold and efficient. Something that's made decisions like this before and will make them again. He opens the driver's door. The lead dog doesn't run. It stands, backs up 3 paces, and watches. The Marine prays one more time, not for himself, for the woman who's about to make a choice she can't take back. She's seen worse. That's what she tells herself as she watches the man step out of the SUV. But her hands are shaking when she picks up her phone, and that means her body knows something her mind hasn't accepted yet. The rest stop has a name. Desert Rose Junction. But the sign fell down 3 years ago, and nobody bothered replacing it. She doesn't mind. Names make places feel permanent, and permanence is something she stopped believing in around her 2nd divorce. The coffee pot is empty. The floor is swept. The bathroom mirrors are smudged, but passable. Her shift ends in 40 minutes, and she's already planning what comes next. Drive home, microwave something, watch television until her eyes stop focusing. But now there are dogs, and a man, and the feeling she gets when her daughter used to lie about where she'd been, the prickle at the base of her skull that says, "Pay attention. Something's wrong. Don't ignore this." She sets the phone down without calling anyone. Not yet. Through the window, she watches the man close the driver's door behind him. He's average height, clean-shaven, wearing a polo shirt that's too crisp for desert travel, the kind that comes from a store that sells aspiration more than clothing. His jeans have a crease. His shoes are leather, not work boots. He looks like someone who belongs at a golf course. Not here. The lead dog moves when he moves, stays outside striking distance, but maintains proximity. Its focus is absolute, the kind of attention she's only seen in working dogs, police shepherds, military breeds trained to read threat the way normal dogs read food. These aren't normal dogs. She's been feeding strays for 3 years. They come through in waves. skeletal things with matted fur and desperate eyes. Why? They eat fast and leave faster. They don't make eye contact, don't trust, don't stay. These three are different. The lead walked in like it owned the place, sat in the shade and waited. When she brought water, it drank calmly. No gulping, no fear. Then stepped aside to let the others drink. Hierarchy without aggression. Order without force. The second dog drank in bursts, glancing up between laps, cataloging exits and entrances. Tactical, alert. The youngest drank last, quickly, eyes darting to the lead for permission before approaching the bowl. Pack structure. Discipline. Purpose. She's never seen that in strays. Now the lead stands in the parking lot like a sentry, and the man is staring at it with the kind of annoyance that comes from being inconvenienced by something beneath your notice. He waves his hand, shooing gesture. Universal language for go away. The dog doesn't go away. The woman's fingers tap against the counter. Unconscious rhythm. Anxiety made kinetic. She glances at the only other person in the building, a trucker refilling his coffee at the self-serve station. He hasn't noticed anything. He's scrolling through his phone, earbuds in, existing in a bubble of digital distraction. She's alone in this. Outside, the man takes a step toward the dog. Aggressive posture, shoulders forward, invading space the way men do when they're used to space yielding. The dog backs up, but it doesn't break eye contact. The woman moves closer to the window. Her reflection stares back. 47 years old, hair going gray at the temples, lines around her eyes that have nothing to do with smiling. She looks tired. She is tired. But something in her reflection sharpens as she watches the standoff unfold. She's seen this before. Not here, not dogs, but the shape of it is familiar. 10 years ago. Different rest stop, different man. But the same wrongness in his posture, the same too careful control, the same look in his eyes when he thought no one was watching, the look that said, I've done this before, and I'll do it again, and you can't stop me. That man left a girl in his trunk. They found her 2 days later. The woman's jaw tightens. The second dog appears beside the SUV's rear tire. It paces a tight circle, then stops and paws at the ground. 3 times. Deliberate scrapes in the dust. The pattern registers in the woman's hindbrain before her conscious mind can name it. 3. Not random, not playful. 3. The youngest dog is at the building's entrance now. It sits, stares at her through the glass. Its eyes are amber bright, too intelligent, too focused. She feels something shift in her chest, a decision forming before she's made it. The man outside pulls out his phone, types something with one hand. His other hand stays near his jacket pocket. Never quite touches it, never quite moves away. The woman picks up her phone, sets it down, picks it up again. Her thumb hovers over the emergency call button. But what would she say? There are dogs acting weird and a man who makes me uncomfortable? They'd tell her to call animal control. They'd tell her she's wasting their time. She's wasted their time before. During the bad years with husband number 2. When concern turned into crying, Wolf turned into, "We're not coming out there again, ma'am." She learned to trust herself instead. Or stop trusting anything. The lead dog sits again, lifts its paw, taps the asphalt. Once, twice, 3 times. The woman's breath catches. She knows that pattern. Doesn't know how she knows it. Didn't serve in the military. Didn't work with police. But somewhere, maybe a documentary, maybe a conversation she's forgotten, She absorbed the information and filed it away in the part of her brain that collects useless facts. 3 taps. Distress signal. 3 of anything. Morse code. Survival training. The universal language of help me. Her phone buzzes in her hand. Text from her daughter. "Don't forget you're watching Jenna this weekend." She types back. "I won't." Looks up. The man is walking toward the building now. Toward her. His expression is neutral. Pleasant, even. The kind of smile that belongs on customer service training videos. The dogs follow, not chasing, escorting. The lead stays 5 feet behind. The second flanks left. The third circles wide, cutting off retreat to the parking lot. Hunting formation. The woman's pulse kicks up. She slides her phone into her pocket, wipes her palms on her jeans, stands straighter, makes herself visible through the glass, makes herself a witness. The door opens. Heat rolls in first, then the man. He nods it at her, polite, forgettable, and moves to the vending machine like he's done this 1,000 times. Feeds in bills, selects a drink. The machine whirs and clunks. The dogs stop at the threshold. They don't enter. Don't need to. The lead sits. The others flank it. 3 pairs of eyes locked on the man's back. The woman clears her throat. "Hot day." He glances over. Smiles. Brutal. "AC in my ride quit about an hour ago. Where you headed?" "Phoenix." He pops the can open. Takes a long drink. "You?" "I work here." "Right. Course." He laughs. "Easy. Practiced. Long shift?" "Ends soon." "Lucky you." The conversation is normal. Surface level. The kind of exchange that happens 10,000 times a day in places like this. But underneath, the woman feels the current. The thing neither of them is saying. She glances past him, through the window, at the SUV. The windows are tinted dark. The engine is off now. Nothing moves inside. "Those your dogs?" she asks. He follows her gaze. His smile doesn't change, but something behind it does. "Nope. Strays, I think. Been following me since I pulled in." "They don't look like strays." "No. Too well fed. Too calm." He shrugs. "Maybe they belong to someone around here." "Maybe." Silence settles. 3 seconds. 5. The man crushes the empty can, tosses it in the trash. "Well, better get back on the road. Traffic's gonna be hell." He walks toward the door. The dogs stand. The woman's voice cuts across the space before she can stop it. "Sir." He turns, eyebrows raised, still smiling. You drop something?" He pats his pockets. "Don't think so." "Oh, my mistake." He nods, pushes through the door. The dogs part to let him through, then close ranks behind him. The woman watches him walk to the SUV, watches him open the driver's door, watches him pause, just for a second, and glance back at her. Their eyes meet. In that glance, she sees confirmation. She sees the truth. She sees that he knows Charles. She knows. The lead dog lifts its paw again. And this time, the woman knows exactly what it's asking her to do. The man's smile is a weapon. She recognizes it now. He sits in the driver's seat with the door open, one foot on the asphalt, the other inside the SUV. Casual, unhurried, the posture of someone who has all the time in the world and knows you don't. The lead dog stands between him and the vehicle's rear tire. It hasn't barked once, hasn't growled. It simply exists in the space, immovable as concrete, silent as a held breath. The woman's hand finds her phone again. This time she doesn't set it down. She scrolls to recent calls. Her thumb hovers over her daughter's number, then moves to 911. Stops, returns to her daughter's number. What would she say? There's a man at the rest stop, and 3 dogs think he's dangerous? I have a feeling something's wrong, but I can't prove it. I'm calling because 10 years ago I didn't call, and someone died? The screen blurs. She blinks it clear. Outside, the man checks his watch. Expensive. Silver. The band catches sunlight and throws it across the asphalt in sharp fragments. He looks at the watch the way people look at obligations, with resigned annoyance. Then he looks at the dogs. You 3 gonna be a problem? His voice carries through the open door. Conversational. Almost friendly. The lead doesn't react. The man's jaw tightens. Didn't think so. He swings his leg inside the vehicle, reaches for the door handle. The youngest dog barks. Single. Sharp. The sound cracks across the lot like a branch breaking. The man freezes. The second dog moves to the rear passenger door. It rises on hind legs, paws against the window, and sniffs at the seam where glass meets rubber. Its nose works frantically. Then it drops to all 4s and paws at the door panel. 3 times. 3 distinct scrapes. The pattern is undeniable now. The woman's fingers dial before her brain catches up. The phone rings once, twice. On the 3rd ring, a voice answers. Flat. Professional. Bored. 911. What's your emergency? Her mouth opens. Nothing comes out. Ma'am, are you there? The man's head turns. He looks directly at her through the window. Through 30 feet of heat, shimmer, and glass, and the space where truth lives before it becomes words. He shakes his head. Slow. Deliberate. Don't. The message is clear. Ma'am, if you can't speak, press any button on your phone. Her thumb hovers over the keypad. The man's hand moves to his jacket pocket. The motion is glacial, controlled, giving her time to see it coming. Time to understand what happens next if she makes the wrong choice. The lead dog's lips peel back. No sound, just teeth. Ma'am, I'm going to dispatch a unit to your location if you don't respond. The woman's voice returns as a whisper. Desert Rose Junction, Highway 60 and Route 47. What's the nature of your emergency? I don't know. Maybe nothing. Ma'am, I need you to be specific. There's a man and dogs, and I think, her voice cracks. I think something's wrong. Is someone injured? I don't know. Is someone threatening you? No. Yes, I don't. Ma'am, stay on the line. I'm sending a unit now. The man hears. She can tell by the way his shoulders change, by the way his hand stops moving toward his pocket and starts moving back out. He knows she called. He knows help is coming. He knows he has minutes, maybe less. The decision plays out on his face like a film on fast forward. Option A, cut losses, drive away. Abandon whatever's in the back seat. Option B, finish the job, disappear before sirens arrive. Option C, neutralize the witness. The woman sees all 3 possibilities crystallize in his eyes. She steps back from the window. Her legs tremble. The phone is still pressed to her ear, the dispatcher's voice asking questions she can't process. The trucker at the coffee station finally looks up, pulls out an earbud. You okay? She can't answer, can't look away from the window. The man closes the driver's door, but he doesn't start the engine. Instead, he gets out, stands, scans the lot with the systematic efficiency of someone who's planned for complications. His gaze tracks the angles, the exits, the distances. Then he walks toward the building. Toward her. The dogs move with him, not following, herding. The lead cuts left. The second goes right. The youngest takes point. They flow around him like water around stone, closing distance, tightening formation. The man's hand is in his pocket now, inside the jacket, holding something she can't see but can imagine with perfect clarity. She's seen enough crime shows, read enough news articles. She knows what small, metallic, and concealed means. "Ma'am, what's happening?" The dispatcher's voice is urgent now. "Talk to me." "He's coming inside." "Who is?" "The man. He's—" The door opens. Heat rushes in. The man follows. This time he's not smiling. His face is blank, efficient. The face of someone performing a task they've rehearsed. He takes 3 steps inside. The trucker stands. "Hey, pal, you can't—" "Shut up!" The words are flat, empty of emotion. "Both of you, phones down. Now." The woman's phone clatters to the counter. Her hands go up automatically. Muscle memory from every news segment about active shooters, every workplace training video, every nightmare that starts with "what if." The trucker's phone hits the floor. His hands rise slower. He's bigger than the man, younger. But there's something about the way the man stands, planted, centered, certain, that makes size irrelevant. Outside, the lead dog slams against the glass door. The sound is enormous. The door shudders, but holds. The man glances back. His jaw tightens. Those fucking dogs. The second dog appears at the window to his left. It barks, low, continuous, the sound building in intensity like a siren winding up. The youngest is at the vending machine window. It paws at the glass. 3 times. 3 times. 3 times. The pattern is everywhere now, a language shouting what words can't. The man turns back to the woman. "You called the cops." It's not a question. She nods. Can't help it. Can't lie. "How long?" "I don't—" "How long?" His voice doesn't rise, doesn't need to. The violence is in the steadiness, in the control that comes before control breaks. 5 minutes. Maybe less. Shit. He runs his free hand through his hair. The other stays in his pocket. Shit. Okay. Okay. He's talking to himself now, working through a problem. She's seen this before too, in her ex-husband's eyes, when the bills came due and the excuses ran out. The math of bad decisions catching up. The trucker shifts his weight, testing, measuring. "Don't," the man says without looking at him. "I will shoot you. I don't want to, but I will." "Just take the register," the woman hears herself say. "Take whatever you want." He laughs. Single bark of sound. "You think this is a robbery? Then what?" "Shut up." Sirens, faint, distant, but growing. The man hears them. His face changes again. The blankness cracks. Underneath is something raw and animal. Trapped thing panic. The kind that makes people stupid and dangerous in equal measure. Outside, all 3 dogs are at the door now. The lead throws its weight against the glass again. And again. The frame groans. The man backs toward the door. Keeps his pocket hand aimed at the woman and the trucker. "You didn't see anything. You don't know anything. I was never here." "Okay," the woman says. "Okay, whatever you want. If you describe me to the cops, I'll come back. You understand? I'll find out where you live. Where your kids go to school. I'll—" The door explodes inward. Not from the dogs. From the trucker. He crosses the distance in 2 strides and hits the man like a linebacker. They go down together. The man's hand comes out of his pocket. Silver, compact, exactly what she thought it would be. But the trucker's hand is already there, slamming the man's wrist against the tile floor. Once, twice. The weapon skitters across linoleum. The dogs pour inside. The lead reaches the weapon first, snaps it up in its jaws and backs away, drops it at the woman's feet. The second dog is on the man's legs, not biting, pinning, holding him down with 80 pounds of determined muscle. The youngest circles, barking continuously now, a sound that carries through open doors and across the parking lot, and into the highway, where state troopers are already pulling in with lights flashing and sirens screaming. The woman picks up the weapon. It's heavier than she expected. Cold. Real. She sets it on the counter, steps back, raises her hands, even though no one's pointing anything at her anymore. The trucker has the man's arms twisted behind his back. The man is screaming now, all the control gone. Nothing left but rage and fear, and the sound people make when they realize they've lost. The sirens are deafening. Doors slam. Boots hit pavement. Voices shout commands. The woman doesn't move. Can't. Her legs have forgotten how. The lead dog sits beside her, presses its shoulder against her leg. Just pressure. Just presence. She reaches down. Her hand finds the space between its ears. The fur is coarse, warm, real. "Thank you," she whispers. The dog looks up at her. Its eyes are amber, intelligent, ancient. And for the first time in 10 years, the woman thinks maybe she did enough. Maybe this time, someone listened. They break the window at 3:47 p.m. The woman knows because she's staring at the clock on the wall when the glass shatters. The sound is wrong, not explosive, controlled, deliberate. Safety glass fracturing into 1,000 pieces that cascade inward like frozen rain. A state trooper's baton withdraws from the window frame. Gloved hands reach through. Someone shouts instructions she can't process. The SUV rocks on its suspension as weight shifts inside. The woman stands at the rest stop entrance with the lead dog still pressed against her leg. The trucker is outside now, talking to 3 officers at once, gesturing with his hands, adrenaline making his words come too fast. The man who started all this is face down on the pavement, wrists zip-tied behind his back. 2 officers standing over him, while a third reads rights from a card he doesn't need to look at. But the woman can't look away from the SUV, from the shapes moving inside, from the moment when everything she suspected becomes real. A paramedic climbs through the broken window, disappears into the back seat. 20 seconds of silence. Then his voice, sharp and urgent. "I need a stretcher. Now. Get EMS up here." Another paramedic runs from the ambulance, carries equipment the woman recognizes from television but can't name. They work inside the vehicle with practiced efficiency. Voices overlap. Medical terminology bounces between them like a foreign language. The second dog sits at the SUV's rear tire, watching, waiting. The youngest paces a tight circle, energy with nowhere to go. The lead doesn't move. Its shoulder remains pressed to the woman's leg. Solid. Real. The only thing keeping her upright. "Ma'am?" A female officer approaches. Young, maybe 30. Her nameplate says Reyes. "I need to get a statement from you." The woman nods. Can't speak yet. "Take your time," Reyes says. Her voice is kind, professional, the voice of someone who's done this before. "I know it's a lot." "Is he?" The woman's throat closes. The person in the vehicle, are they alive? Barely, but alive. The word hits like a physical thing. Alive. The woman's knees buckle. The lead dog braces against her. She grabs fur, holds on. Okay, she whispers. Okay. Reyes pulls out a notepad. Start from the beginning. When did you first notice something was wrong? The woman tells her. All of it. The dogs. The patterns. The 3 taps. The way the man smiled like a weapon. The phone call. The confrontation. Reyes writes quickly. Doesn't interrupt. When the woman finishes, the officer looks up. You saved someone's life today. You know that. The woman shakes her head. The dogs. You called it in. You stayed on the line. You witnessed. Reyes clicks her pen. That's what made the difference. Through the broken window, they lift someone out. The body is wrapped in blankets, strapped to a backboard. An oxygen mask covers the face. IV lines trail from both arms, but the person is moving. Fingers twitch. Head turns slightly. The lead dog makes a sound. Not a bark. Something deeper. Recognition. It pulls away from the woman and crosses the parking lot. Officers move to intercept, then stop. Something in the dog's posture makes them hesitate. The dog approaches the stretcher, sits beside it, looks up at the paramedics like it's asking permission. One paramedic glances at his partner, shrugs. Give us a second. They lower the stretcher, just slightly, just enough. The Marine's eyes are swollen almost shut. His face is a mask of bruises. Duct tape residue still clings to his wrists. But when the dog leans in, his hand lifts, trembling, slow. His fingers find the space between the dog's ears. The woman watches from 30 feet away and feels something break open in her chest. Not tears, something larger than that. Relief and grief and the weight of 10 years falling away all at once. The Marine's lips move. No sound comes out, but the woman can read the shape of it. Thank you. The dog leans closer, presses its forehead to the Marine's shoulder. For 3 seconds, the parking lot goes still. Even the wind stops. Then the paramedics lift the stretcher, load it into the ambulance. Doors close. Sirens wail. The vehicle pulls away in a spray of gravel and urgency. The lead dog watches until the ambulance disappears onto the highway. Then it walks back to the woman and sits at her feet. The second dog joins it. Then the youngest. 3 dogs. 3 witnesses. 3 reasons a man is still breathing. Officer Reyes crouches down, extends her hand slowly. The lead sniffs it, allows touch. Any idea where they came from? No, the woman says. They just appeared. No collars, no tags. Reyes runs her hand along the lead dog's neck. But they're too clean to be wild, too well fed. Maybe they belong to someone nearby. Maybe. Reyes stands. We'll check with animal control, see if anyone's filed a missing report. The woman's hand finds the lead dog's head again. And if no one has, then I guess they're strays. Reyes smiles. Lucky strays. The woman doesn't correct her, because she knows better. These dogs aren't lucky, aren't lost, aren't strays waiting to be claimed. They're something else. Something she doesn't have words for yet. The trucker approaches. His hands are still shaking. They're saying that guy's wanted in 3 states. Kidnapping, assault, worse. He looks at the dogs. How'd they know? I don't know, the woman says. But that's not quite true. She doesn't know how. Doesn't know the mechanism or the science or the explanation that would satisfy a courtroom. She only knows that. that the dogs saw what humans missed, that they responded to a signal no one else could read, that they turned attention into action and action into rescue, that they were exactly where they needed to be when it mattered most. Officer Reyes finishes her notes, hands the woman a card. "We'll need a formal statement at the station. Tomorrow's fine. And the district attorney might want to talk to you when this goes to trial." "Okay. You did good today." Reyes pauses. Not everyone would have called. The woman thinks of 10 years ago, of the girl they found 2 days later, of the silence she chose when she should have spoken. "This time I did," she says quietly. Reyes nods, understands without needing explanation. She walks back to her patrol car. The rest stop, empties slowly. Officers take measurements, collect evidence, photograph the scene. The SUV is loaded onto a flatbed and hauled away. The weapon is bagged and tagged. The broken glass is marked with yellow tape. By the time the sun starts its descent, the lot is almost empty again. Just the woman and 3 dogs. She sits on the curb near the entrance. The heat is fading. The wind picks up. Somewhere in the distance, a semi's air brakes hiss. The lead dog lies beside her. The second stretches out in the shade. The youngest finally stops pacing and collapses in a heap of exhausted puppy energy. The woman's phone buzzes. Her daughter. "Mom, you okay? I saw something on the news about Desert Rose Junction." She types back slowly. "I'm okay. Long story. I'll tell you when I see you. Love you." "Love you too, baby." She sets the phone down, looks at the dogs. "What now?" she asks them. The lead lifts its head, looks at her with those amber eyes that have seen too much and understand more than they should. Then it stands, stretches, walks to the edge of the lot where pavement meets scrub. The other 2 follow. They stop at the border, look back once, then move into the desert like smoke dissipating into air. The woman stands, calls out, "Wait!" But they're already gone, swallowed by heat and distance and the great invisible current that brought them here and carries them forward. She stands alone in the parking lot as the sun bleeds orange across the horizon, and she wonders if anyone will believe her, if she even believes herself. Tomorrow, the video will surface. Tomorrow, the debate will begin. But tonight, the dogs are already hunting for the next signal that needs an answer. The Marine wakes up in pieces. First, fluorescent light. Too bright, stabbing through swollen eyelids. Second, sound. Beeping. Rhythmic. A machine translating heartbeat into proof of life. Third, pain. Everywhere, but especially his wrists where phantom duct tape still burns. He tries to speak. His throat is sandpaper. His tongue is too thick. What comes out is a rasp that doesn't form words. A face appears above him. Female. Scrubs. Stethoscope. "Hey there. Welcome back. Don't try to talk yet." He blinks. The pattern comes automatically. 1, 2, 3. The nurse pauses. "You trying to tell me something?" He blinks again. Slower. Deliberate. She leans closer. Studies his face. "You're safe now. You're at County General. You've been here 6 hours. The number doesn't mean anything. Time is still broken, still moving in fragments. Your injuries are significant but manageable," she continues. Professional, gentle. Dehydration, contusions, lacerations on your wrists and ankles, possible concussion, but you're going to be okay. Okay. The word is supposed to mean something. He's alive, Free. Safe. So why does his chest feel like it's collapsing? There are people who want to talk to you, the nurse says. Police, FBI, but I told them you need rest first. They can wait. He tries to nod. His neck screams in protest. Easy. Don't move too much yet. She adjusts something on the IV. Is there someone we should call? Family? Family. His mother. His sister. The ex-girlfriend who probably stopped waiting 6 months ago. He closes his eyes, shakes his head fractionally. Okay. We'll figure it out. The nurse pats his shoulder. You just focus on healing. She leaves. The room settles into mechanical quiet. Beeping. Humming. The ambient sound of survival happening automatically. He stares at the ceiling, counts the tiles, loses track. Starts again. Tries not to think about the back seat of the SUV. The taste of duct tape. The moment he realized he might die without anyone knowing he was gone. Tries not to think about the dogs, but they're all he can think about. The way the lead sat like a monument. The way the second traced patterns no human could see. The way the youngest ran between worlds, animal and human, wild and tame, like it understood both languages. They saved him. Not the woman, though she called. Not the trucker, though he fought. The dogs. 3 strays who appeared from nowhere and saw what everyone else missed. How? The question loops, has no answer, exists anyway. His eyes close. Sleep pulls at him. He resists, afraid of what he'll see in the dark behind his lids. But exhaustion wins. It always does. 3 states away, in a cinder block holding cell that smells like disinfectant and defeat. The man sits on a metal bench and stares at his hands. They're shaking. They haven't stopped shaking since the zip ties went on. His lawyer will arrive tomorrow. Maybe. If the retainer cleared. If the firm decides he's worth the trouble. He knows how this goes. He's been through it before. Different charges. Different state. Same outcome. Plea deal. Reduced sentence. Time served. Release with restrictions. The system is predictable. Manageable. But this time is different. This time, there were dogs. And video. He saw the woman filming from inside the rest stop. Saw the trucker's phone on the ground, camera facing up. Saw the dash cam on the state trooper's vehicle. Evidence. Everywhere. His prints on the weapon. His face on camera. His voice recorded telling civilians to shut up while his hand was in his pocket. The math doesn't work this time. He's thinking about the dogs again. Can't help it. Can't understand it. They weren't trained. Weren't collared. Weren't police canines following commands. They just knew. Knew something was wrong. Knew where to look. Knew how to signal. Like they could read minds. Or read something deeper than minds. He presses his palms against his temples. Squeezes. Tries to push the thoughts out. It doesn't work. In the corner of the cell, a spider builds a web. Patient. Methodical. Playing the long game. The man watches it and thinks about patterns. About how some creatures sense things others can't. About how survival makes you pay attention to signals the safe ignore. He thinks about the Marine. About how close it was. 20 more minutes and he would have crossed state lines. 30 minutes and the body would have been dumped in a ravine where no one looks. The dogs bought those minutes, stole them back, changed the math. The man's hand stops shaking. Something else replaces it. Something colder. Anger. At the dogs. At the woman. At the stupid, impossible luck that put 3 strays in a parking lot at the exact moment he needed them not to be there. He stands, paces, 3 steps to the wall, turn, 3 steps back. The pattern is familiar, comforting. 3, 3. He stops mid-stride. The taps, the blinks, the pattern the dogs repeated over and over. 3. Distress signal. He knows that now. Looked it up once in a different life, when different plans required different knowledge. 3 of anything means help. 3 gunshots. 3 whistle blasts. 3 smoke signals. Universal language. The Marine knew it. The dogs recognized it. But how? The question has no answer that makes sense, unless the dogs were trained, unless someone sent them, unless this was a setup from the beginning. But that's impossible. Paranoid. The kind of thinking that comes from too many hours in too small a space. He sits back down, drops his head into his hands. Tomorrow, the lawyer will tell him to keep quiet, to let the system work, to trust the process. He'll nod, agree, do what he's told. But tonight, in this cell, he knows the truth. He lost because 3 dogs paid attention, and someone finally listened. The woman's shift ended 4 hours ago. She's still at the rest stop. Sitting in her car, engine off, windows down, letting the desert breathe through the space. She should go home, should shower, should eat, should call her daughter and explain what happened, should do 1,000 normal things, but normal feels like a language she's forgotten how to speak. Her phone is full of messages now, friends, family, her ex-husband, surprisingly, all asking the same question in different words. Are you okay? She doesn't know how to answer. She's not injured, not traumatized, not even particularly shaken anymore. She's something else. Changed. She keeps replaying the moment the lead dog sat at her feet and tapped the floor. 3 times. Deliberate. The moment she knew. Not suspected, not guessed. Knew. Like the dog was speaking, and she was the only one fluent enough to understand. She's never believed in signs, in fate, in cosmic intervention dressed up as coincidence. But she believes in this, in 3 dogs who appeared from nowhere, in a signal sent and received, in attention becoming action, in the choice to listen when everything says to ignore. Her phone buzzes. Unknown number. She almost doesn't answer. Then does. Hello? Is this the woman from Desert Rose Junction? Male voice. Professional. Careful. Who's asking? My name is Agent Martinez, FBI. I'm handling the case involving the incident this afternoon. She sits up straighter. Okay. I know you've already given a statement to local police, but I'd like to ask you a few follow-up questions. Tomorrow, if you're available. What kind of questions? About the dogs, and what you observed before the confrontation. The dogs, of course. Everyone wants to know about the dogs. I'll answer what I can, she says carefully. But I don't know much. They just appeared. That's what I want to talk about, because we've been tracking this suspect for 8 months. And in that time, he's been careful, methodical, no witnesses, no mistakes, until today. She doesn't say anything. Waits. What changed today, Martinez continues, is that someone noticed. Someone paid attention. Someone acted. The dogs? The dogs got your attention. But you're the one who called. You're the reason we got there in time. The words land softly, sink in. Okay, she says quietly. Tomorrow. What time? They arrange details. She hangs up, sits in the dark, Wonders if the Marine knows, if he's awake, if he remembers. Wonders if the dogs are still out there, watching another car, reading another signal. Wonders how many people are dying in back seats while the world looks away. Her daughter's face flashes through her mind. Young, bright, trusting in a way the woman hasn't been in decades. She picks up her phone, types a message. I love you. Be careful. Pay attention. If something feels wrong, it probably is. Her daughter responds immediately. Mom, are you okay? I am now. I'll explain tomorrow. She starts the engine, pulls out of the lot, drives home with her windows down and her radio off, listening to the sound of her own breathing, grateful it's still happening. Somewhere in the dark, 3 dogs cross a highway. Their eyes reflect headlights like stars falling sideways. Then they're gone. Already hunting the next signal that doesn't know it's screaming yet. The video goes viral at 11:32 p.m. It starts on a local news Facebook page. 47 views in the first minute. 200 by minute 5. 10,000 by the time the algorithms wake up and decide this is content worth amplifying. By midnight, it's everywhere. The footage is grainy, shot from a dashboard camera at an angle that catches everything sideways. But the audio is clear. Too clear. You can hear the man tell the woman and trucker to shut up. You can hear the threat in his voice. Flat. Empty. Final. You can see the silver flash of the weapon in his hand. And you can see the dogs. 3 shapes moving with coordinated precision. The lead throwing itself against the glass door. The second pinning the man's legs. The youngest circling, barking, creating chaos that saves lives. The video ends with the state troopers arriving, with the man face down on pavement, with the lead dog sitting beside a stretcher, pressing its forehead to a Marine's shoulder. The caption is simple. 3 stray dogs save kidnapped Marine. But how did they know? Comments flood in. This is a miracle. Dogs are angels. Trained military dogs? Had to be. My German Shepherd does the same thing when I'm having a panic attack. God sent them. Coincidence. Lucky timing. Watch the tapping pattern. That's not random. Anyone else crying? The debate fractures immediately into camps. Believers and skeptics. Spiritual and scientific. Those who see meaning and those who see chance. But everyone watches. By 1 a.m., the video has 2 million views. By 2 a.m., news crews are calling the woman's phone. By 3 a.m., the Marine's name is public knowledge. Corporal James Mackenzie, age 29. Reported missing 6 days ago after failing to report for duty at Camp Pendleton. Vehicle found abandoned near the California-Arizona border. No leads, no witnesses. Until 3 dogs saw what humans missed. The story writes itself. The narrative is perfect. Too perfect. Hero Marine. Evil kidnapper. 3 mysterious dogs. A woman who paid attention. A trucker who fought back. Good versus evil. Simple. Clean. Satisfying. But the details are messier. At County General, Corporal Mackenzie refuses interviews, refuses visitors, refuses everything except silence and the rhythm of machines that prove he's still alive. A nurse brings him a phone. Your mother's been calling. He stares at it. Doesn't take it. She just wants to know you're okay. I'm not okay. The words come out sharper than intended. The nurse doesn't flinch. Fair enough. But she's worried. He closes his eyes, counts to 3, opens them. Tell her I'm alive. Tell her I'll call when I'm ready. Okay. The nurse pockets the phone. There's also a reporter outside. Says she needs to talk to you about the dogs. No. FBI agent wants to debrief you. Tomorrow. And someone dropped this off. She sets an envelope on the bedside table. No return address. Just his name in block letters. He doesn't touch it. Doesn't want to. Doesn't want anything except to close his eyes and wake up in a different reality where the past 6 days didn't happen. But they did. The nurse leaves. The room settles. He stares at the envelope for 20 minutes before opening it. Inside, a single photograph. 3 dogs, sitting side by side, staring at the camera with eyes too intelligent, too focused. On the back, someone wrote, "They found you because you signaled, but who taught them to look?" His hands start shaking. He drops the photo. It lands face down on the blanket. Who taught them to look? The question he's been avoiding, the one that doesn't have a rational answer. Dogs can sense seizures, detect cancer, alert to low blood sugar. There's science for that. Training. Years of conditioning. But reading a distress signal through tinted glass, coordinating a response, bringing humans into the pattern, that's different. That's something else. He picks up the photo again, studies the dogs. The lead's eyes are amber bright. The second's gaze is sharp, assessing. The youngest looks like it's vibrating with energy even in stillness. Where did they come from? Where did they go? And why him? His head throbs. The concussion makes thinking feel like walking through mud. But the questions persist. Maybe they were trained. Maybe someone sent them. Maybe this whole thing is bigger than a random kidnapping and 3 lucky strays. Or maybe, and this is the thought that keeps him awake, maybe dogs see things humans don't. Maybe they read patterns in behavior and scent and sound that we're too distracted to notice. Maybe they're always watching, always listening, and we just don't pay attention until it's too late, until 3 of them sit in a parking lot and tap out SOS with their paws because one man remembered to blink. He slides the photo back into the envelope, sets it on the table. Tomorrow, he'll talk to the FBI. Tomorrow, he'll call his mother. Tomorrow, he'll start processing 6 days of being bound and moved and waiting to die. But tonight, he closes his eyes and thinks about 3 dogs who refuse to look away. And he understands, for the first time since they cut him free, that attention is a form of love. That violence is a form of rescue. That someone, something, cared enough to notice him when the rest of the world drove past. The woman's house is small. 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom. A kitchen with chipped counters and a refrigerator that hums too loud. She's lived here for 3 years and still hasn't hung pictures on the walls. It's 4 a.m. when she finally falls asleep. She dreams of dogs. Not the 3 from the rest stop. Different dogs. Hundreds of them. Thousands. Moving through cities and deserts and mountains. Watching. Waiting. Reading signals no one else can see. In the dream, they're connected. A network of attention spanning continents. Every time a human blinks 3 times. Every time someone taps a pattern. Every time a cry for help goes silent. The dogs know. And they respond. She wakes at 6 a.m. to her phone ringing. Unknown number. Again. Hello? Ms. Reeves, this is CNN. We'd like to interview you about yesterday's rescue. She hangs up. The phone rings again. Different number. Same request. She turns it off, sits on the edge of her bed, watches dawn bleed through cheap curtains. The video is everywhere now. She knows without looking, knows her face is being analyzed, her words dissected. Her choice to call 911 being debated by millions of people who've never had to make that choice in real time. She thinks about the lead dog, about the way it looked at her through the glass, about the moment their understanding became mutual. See what I see. Know what I know. Do something. That's what the dog asked. That's what she did. She showers, dresses, makes coffee she doesn't drink, opens her front door to get the paper and finds 3 news vans parked on her street. A reporter sees her, starts jogging over. "Ms. Reeves, just a few questions." She closes the door, locks it, backs away. Her phone, powered back on, immediately buzzes. Text from her daughter. "Mom, you're famous. Are you okay?" "I'm fine. Staying inside today. Want me to come over?" "I'm okay. Just need quiet. Love you. Love you too." She sits on her couch, stares at the blank walls, thinks about getting pictures, about making this place feel like home, about how yesterday changed something fundamental in the way she understands the world. 10 years ago, she didn't call, didn't want to get involved, didn't trust her instincts. And a girl died. Yesterday she called, she listened, she acted, and a Marine lives. The difference is 3 dogs who refuse to be ignored, and a woman who finally chose to pay attention. Outside, the reporters wait. Inside, she thinks about tapping patterns, about amber eyes that see too much, about how many people are still in back seats, still blinking, still hoping someone notices. And she wonders if she's brave enough to keep looking. The FBI briefing room smells like burnt coffee and stale air. Agent Martinez sits across from Corporal Mackenzie and slides a folder across the table. "I need you to look at these photos. Tell me if you recognize anyone." Mackenzie's wrists are bandaged. His face is still swollen. Moving hurts. Thinking hurts more. But he opens the folder. 12 faces stare back. Different ages. Different genders. All with the same look in their eyes. The hollow exhaustion of people who've been missing too long. "Do you know any of them?" Martinez asks. Mackenzie shakes his head. "Should I?" "They're all connected to your kidnapper. We've been tracking him for 11 months. He's got a pattern. Targets people in transit. Military, mostly. People who move around. Whose absence takes time to register." Mackenzie's stomach turns. "How many?" "That we know of? 12. Martinez pauses. "That we suspect? More." The number hangs in the air like smoke. "What happened to them?" 6 are still missing. 4 were found deceased. 2, including you, survived. Mackenzie closes the folder, pushes it back. "I don't want to see this. I know. But I need you to understand the scope. This wasn't random. This wasn't opportunistic. He's been doing this for years." "And you couldn't catch him?" Martinez's jaw tightens. "He's careful. No witnesses. No patterns we could track. Until yesterday. The dogs. The dogs. And the woman who noticed them." Martinez pulls out another folder. This one is thicker. "We've been analyzing the video, the pattern of behavior, the coordination." "You think they were trained?" "We thought that initially. Ran prints on all 3 through military and police databases. No matches. Checked veterinary records. Nothing. They're not chipped. Not registered. Not anywhere." Mackenzie leans back. The chair creaks. "So what are they?" "That's what we're trying to figure out." Martinez opens the second folder. Inside are dozens of screenshots. Frame-by-frame analysis of the parking lot video. "Watch this." He pulls out his laptop, cues up footage, presses play. The video shows the lead dog approaching the SUV, sitting, lifting its paw, tapping 3 times. Martinez pauses it. See that? 3 taps. Not random scratching. Deliberate. Measured. I know. I saw it happen. Right. But look at this. He fast forwards. Shows the second dog. Same behavior. 3 taps. Then the youngest. 3 barks. 3 times running between the building and the SUV. The pattern repeats, across all 3 dogs, without them interacting, without anyone training them in the moment. Mackenzie's headache intensifies. What are you saying? I'm saying they knew the signal, recognized it, responded to it. Martinez closes the laptop. The question is, how? Maybe they didn't know it. Maybe they just saw me through the window and reacted. Possible. But dogs don't typically coordinate rescue efforts without training. They don't tap patterns that match international distress codes. They don't... He trails off, frustrated. Don't what? They don't behave like a tactical unit responding to intelligence. The words sit heavy between them. Mackenzie thinks about the moment he blinked, about the lead dog's eyes locking onto his, about the instant recognition that passed between them. I see you. I understand. I'm coming. Where are they now? He asks. We don't know. Animal control searched for 3 days. No sightings, no tracks. It's like they vanished, or moved on. To where? Mackenzie doesn't answer, doesn't have one. Martinez pulls out one more document. There's something else. We've been digging into similar cases. Unexplained rescues. People who report being saved by animals in circumstances that don't make sense. And there are patterns. Not many, but enough to notice. He slides over a printout. Phoenix, 6 months ago. A woman trapped in a car after a crash. 3 coyotes circled her vehicle until highway patrol stopped. Witnesses said the coyotes wouldn't leave until help arrived. Mackenzie scans the report. Could be coincidence. Could be. Except, Martinez adds another page. Colorado, 9 months ago. Hiker lost in the backcountry. 3 wolves led search and rescue to his location. Experts said wolves don't do that. Don't approach humans. Don't guide them. 3, Mackenzie says slowly. Always 3. That's impossible. Weird. Unexplainable. Pick your word. Martinez gathers the papers. I'm not saying there's a conspiracy. I'm saying there's something happening that we don't understand yet. Mackenzie's hands are shaking again. He hides them under the table. So what do you want from me? I want you to tell your story. Publicly. I want you to talk about the dogs, about the signal, about what you experienced. Why? Because right now, you're alive, and 12 other people aren't. And if there's even a chance that public attention might help us find whoever's still missing, or prevent the next abduction, I need you to consider it. The room goes quiet, just the hum of fluorescent lights and the distant sound of phones ringing. Mackenzie thinks about the photograph, about amber eyes watching him through tinted glass, about the moment he decided to blink instead of giving up. If I do this, he says carefully, if I tell people what happened, they're going to think I'm crazy. Maybe. Or maybe they'll start paying attention. To what? To the signals, to the patterns, to the things we ignore because they don't fit our understanding of how the world works. Martinez stands, extends his hand. Think about it. You've got time. Mackenzie shakes it, feels the weight of 12 faces pressing against his thoughts. How long? Until he takes someone else. Martinez heads for the door, stops. The woman who called it in, Ms. Reeves. She's refusing interviews, staying out of the spotlight. but she saved your life. You should thank her. I know. Do you? Mackenzie doesn't answer. Martinez leaves. The door clicks shut. Alone, Mackenzie opens the first folder again, studies the faces of the missing and the dead, wonders which ones blinked, which ones sent signals no one saw, which ones died waiting for someone to notice. He closes his eyes, counts to 3, opens them, makes his decision. If 3 dogs can refuse to look away, so can he. Even if it means becoming the story instead of surviving it. The interview airs on a Tuesday. Corporal James Mackenzie sits in a chair that's too comfortable. Studio lights make his bruises look worse than they are. Or maybe they are that bad. He stopped looking in mirrors 3 days ago. The interviewer is professional, sympathetic, asks questions designed to extract emotion without feeling exploitative. Tell us about the moment you realized you were going to die. Mackenzie's throat is dry despite the water they keep offering. I didn't think about dying. I thought about being forgotten. What do you mean? I mean, when you're taken like that, you disappear. Your car is found. Your family files reports. But you're just gone. No witnesses, no evidence, no story. He pauses, breathes. I thought that's what would happen, that I'd become a statistic no one could solve. But you didn't. No. Because of 3 dogs. Yes. Can you describe what happened? He tells the story. All of it. The duct tape. The heat. The crack in the window shade. The deliberate blinks. The lead dog sitting like a monument. The pattern of 3 repeated across minutes that felt like hours. The interviewer leans forward. Do you think the dogs understood what you were doing? Or was it instinct? I think. Mackenzie chooses his words carefully. I think they understood in a way that doesn't require language. They saw distress. They responded. That's not instinct. That's intelligence. Some people are saying it's a miracle, that God sent those dogs. Maybe. I don't know what I believe anymore. But you believe they saved you. I know they did. The interview runs for 22 minutes. By the time it ends, Mackenzie is exhausted, wrung out, empty. But the video is already spreading. Within an hour, it has 500,000 views. Within 3 hours, 2 million. By evening, it's the top trending story on every platform. The comments section explodes again. This man is a hero. Those dogs are angels. We need to find them and give them medals. Anyone notice he said intelligence, not instinct? He knows something. The government trained those dogs. This is a psyop. Or maybe dogs are just smarter than we think. I'm crying. This is beautiful. My faith in humanity is restored. But not everyone celebrates. In a conference room at the Department of Defense, 3 officers watch the interview in silence. When it ends, the senior officer, Colonel Davies, clicks pause. Thoughts? It's a problem, says the first. He's making claims about trained animals without evidence. He's not claiming they're trained, corrects the second. He's saying they're intelligent, which implies training, which raises questions we can't answer. Colonel Davies steeples his fingers. Do we have any programs that match this behavior profile? No, sir, not with canines. And certainly not with unregistered, unchipped strays. Then where did they come from? Silence. That's what I thought. Davies stands, paces. We need to control this narrative before it spirals. The last thing we need is conspiracy theories about secret military dogs roaming the desert. But sir, what if there's something to it? What if what? What if we've been running a covert program we don't know about? What if dogs have developed psychic abilities? What if God is real and sends angels with fur. Davies's voice is sharp. We deal in facts, and the fact is, 3 unidentified dogs showed up at the right time. That's it. No program, no conspiracy, just luck. Should we issue a statement? No. Statements draw attention. Let it fade naturally. These stories always do. But the story doesn't fade. At a veterinary research facility in Colorado, Dr. Sarah Chen watches the interview for the 3rd time. She pauses on the moment Mackenzie describes the dog's behavior, rewinds, watches again. Her colleague, Dr. Patel, leans against the doorframe. Still obsessing? This isn't obsession. This is curiosity. About what? 3 dogs doing dog things? These aren't dog things. This is coordinated response to a distress signal they couldn't have been trained to recognize. So maybe they're smart? Dogs are smart. Chen pulls up her research files. I've been studying canine cognition for 12 years. I've seen dogs detect seizures, alert to cancer, respond to human emotional states, all explainable through scent, pattern recognition, associative learning. But this is different. Look at the timing. Look at the coordination. Look at the pattern repetition across 3 separate animals who show no signs of prior pack bonding. Patel crosses his arms. What are you saying? I'm saying we're missing something. Some mechanism of communication or understanding that doesn't fit our current models. Or they got lucky. 3 times, in 3 different locations, with 3 different humans? Chen shakes her head. That's not luck. That's a pattern, and patterns have causes. So what do you want to do? I want to find them. The dogs? Yes. Chen, they're gone. Disappeared. You'd have better luck finding Bigfoot. She closes her laptop, looks at Patel with the kind of determination that makes him nervous. Then I guess I'm going Bigfoot hunting. The woman, Ms. Reeves, sits in her car outside the grocery store and watches people flow in and out. None of them notice her. She's become good at being invisible, at blending into the background, at existing without taking up space. But ever since the rest stop, invisibility feels different. It feels like a choice instead of a default. Her phone buzzes. Text from Agent Martinez. Mackenzie did the interview. You should watch it. She types back. Why? Because he talks about you. About the choice you made. She doesn't watch it. Doesn't want to. Doesn't want to see her decision turned into content for people who weren't there. But her daughter sends her the link anyway. Mom, you have to see this. He says you saved his life. Against her better judgment, she clicks, finds the timestamp her daughter mentioned, presses play. Mackenzie's voice fills her car speakers. The woman who called 911, Ms. Reeves, she didn't have to get involved. She could have ignored the dogs, could have assumed everything was fine. But she didn't. She paid attention. She acted. And that's what made the difference. The interviewer asks, "Do you want to say anything to her?" Mackenzie looks directly at the camera. His eyes are still swollen. His face is still bruised. But his voice is steady. Thank you. Thank you for seeing what others missed. Thank you for trusting your instincts. Thank you for making the call, even when you weren't sure. You saved my life, and I'll never be able to repay that. But I want you to know, your choice mattered. You mattered. The woman's vision blurs. She sets the phone down, covers her face with her hands. She's not crying. Not really. Just releasing something she's held too long. When she finally looks up, the grocery store is still there. People are still flowing in and out, The world is still turning, but she feels different, lighter, like she set something down and doesn't have to pick it back up. She starts the engine, drives home, makes dinner, calls her daughter. "Did you watch it?" her daughter asks. "I did." "How do you feel?" "I don't know yet." "Mom, you're a hero." "I'm not. I just did what anyone should do. But most people don't. That's what makes it heroic." The woman thinks about this, about the distance between should and do, about how many signals go unnoticed because noticing means getting involved. "Maybe," she says quietly. "But I wasn't alone. The dogs? I know. Everyone's talking about them. Do you think they'll find them?" "I don't know." "Do you want them to?" The question catches her off guard. "Why wouldn't I? Because maybe they're supposed to be mysterious. Maybe that's the point." The woman thinks about amber eyes watching her through glass, about the moment their understanding became mutual, about how some things don't need explanation to be true. "Maybe you're right," she says. They talk for another 20 minutes, about Jenna, about school, about normal things that feel extraordinary now that she's paying attention. When they hang up, the woman sits in her quiet house and thinks about patterns, about how 3 became her number 2. 3 dogs, 3 taps, 3 blinks, 3 chances to notice, 3 choices to act, 3 moments when everything could have gone differently. She wonders how many 3s she's missed, how many she'll see now that she's looking. Somewhere, 3 dogs cross another highway. Their eyes reflect headlights, then they're gone. Still hunting, still watching, still waiting for the next signal. 6 weeks later, Corporal Mackenzie stands at the rest stop, Desert Rose Junction, where it happened, where he almost died, where 3 dogs decided he wouldn't. The place looks the same. Cracked sign, humming vending machine, faded picnic table, heat pressing down like a hand that doesn't intend to move. But it feels different now. Sacred, almost. He walks to the spot where the SUV was parked. The asphalt is clean. No evidence remains. No tape outline. No markers. The desert erases quickly. But he remembers. Every detail. Every second. Every moment between the blink and the rescue. Behind him, a car pulls in. Older model sedan, engine ticking as it cools. The woman, Ms. Reeves, steps out. They've never met in person. Have only exchanged brief messages through Agent Martinez, but recognition is instant. "Corporal Mackenzie." "Ms. Reeves." He extends his hand. She takes it. The handshake is firm. "Real. Thank you for coming." "You said you wanted to talk." "I did. I do." He gestures to the picnic table. They sit. The wood is warm from sun. "I wanted to thank you, in person, not through screens or phones or lawyers." She nods, doesn't speak, waits. "What you did," his voice catches. He clears it, starts again. "What you did saved my life. And I know you've heard that before. From me, from Martinez, from everyone. But I wanted you to hear it here, where it happened, where it mattered. I didn't do it alone. The dogs. Yes." They sit in silence for a moment, watching the highway, watching heat shimmer above asphalt. "Do you think they're still out there?" Mackenzie asks. "Yes." "How do you know?" "I don't, but I believe it." "Why?" She considers the question, chooses her words carefully. "Because I think they were never lost. I think they were always looking, and I think they'll keep looking until there's no one left to find. Mackenzie absorbs this. Martinez showed me the other cases, the other rescues. Always 3. Always when someone needs them. I saw those too. What do you think it means? I think it means we're not as alone as we think we are. I think it means attention is everywhere. We just have to learn to see it. A truck passes on the highway, then another. The world continues. I'm going back to duty next month, Mackenzie says. Desk work for now, but eventually back to active. Are you ready? No, but I'm here. That's enough for now. The woman smiles. Small, genuine. It is. What about you? What about me? Are you okay? She thinks about this, about the nightmares that woke her the first week, about the reporters who eventually stopped calling, about the way she looks at the world now. Sharper, more alert, more present. I'm different, she says, but I think different might be better. Yeah, me too. They sit for another few minutes, not talking, just existing in the space where their lives intersected and changed trajectory. Finally, Mackenzie stands. I should go, but thank you for everything, for listening, for acting, for being the kind of person who pays attention. Thank you for not giving up, for sending the signal, for giving them something to see. They shake hands again. This time, it feels like closure, or maybe beginning. Hard to tell the difference sometimes. Mackenzie walks to his rental car, pauses at the door. Ms. Reeves? Yes. If you ever see them again. The dogs. Will you let me know? I will. And if you see anyone else who needs help, I'll pay attention. I promise. He nods, gets in his car, drives away. The woman stays at the picnic table, watches the highway, thinks about patterns, about how 6 weeks ago she was someone who looked away, who didn't want to get involved, who learned the hard way that silence has a cost. Now she's someone different, someone who watches, who listens, who acts when action matters. The change didn't come from the dogs, though they were the catalyst. It came from the choice. The moment she picked up the phone and decided someone else's life was worth the risk. Her phone buzzes. Text from her daughter. How did it go? Good. Really good. Love you, Mom. Love you too. She stands, stretches, prepares to leave. Then she sees them. 3 shapes at the edge of the lot, where pavement meets scrub, where the world transitions from human to wild. The lead sits, calm, patient, amber eyes watching her. The second paces, alert, scanning. The youngest bounces, energy barely contained. The woman's breath catches. She takes a step forward, then another. The dogs don't run. She reaches the edge of the pavement, kneels, extends her hand slowly. The lead approaches, sniffs, allows touch. The woman's hand finds the space between its ears. The fur is coarse, warm, real. You're still here, she whispers. The dog's tail twitches, not a wag, an acknowledgement. Are you watching over this place? Over people like me? Like him? The dog doesn't answer. Doesn't need to. The woman understands now. It's not about this place. It's not about specific people. It's about the signal. About the moment someone blinks 3 times, taps 3 times, sends 3 of anything into the world, and hopes someone notices. The dogs are listening for that signal. Always. The second dog joins them. Then the youngest. 3 sets of eyes looking at her with intelligence that transcends training. Thank you, she says. For everything. For seeing. For acting. For teaching me how. The lead leans into her touch one more time. Then all three turn and move into the scrub. Silent. Purposeful. Within seconds, they're gone. Swallowed by heat and distance and the invisible current that brought them and carries them forward. The woman stands, watches the space where they vanished. She doesn't feel sad, doesn't feel abandoned. She feels witnessed, seen, part of something larger than herself. She walks back to her car, gets in, starts the engine. Before pulling out, she looks in the rearview mirror one last time. Nothing. Just empty desert. Just heat shimmer. Just the rest stop settling back into itself. But she knows they're out there. Watching. Waiting. Listening for the next signal. And she knows now that she's part of that network. That attention is contagious. That once you start paying attention, you can't stop. She drives home with her windows down and her radio off. Listening. Always listening. For the pattern of three that means someone needs help. For the signal that says, I'm here. I'm alive. Boy, I'm waiting for someone to notice. And if she hears it, when she hears it, she'll act. Because three dogs taught her that witness is a form of rescue. That attention is a form of love. That the space between seeing and acting is where lives are saved or lost. She won't look away again. None of them will. The dogs move through the desert as the sun sets. Their eyes reflect the dying light like stars coming awake. Somewhere ahead, on a highway no one remembers the name of, another car slows. Another person blinks. Another signal enters the world, hoping for witness. And three dogs, lean, dusty, impossibly intelligent, change direction. Already hunting. Already listening. Already answering the call that most humans have forgotten how to hear. The desert holds them for a moment longer, then releases them back into the pattern, where they've always been, where they'll always be, watching for the next person brave enough to signal, waiting for the next human willing to look. Months later, reports surface, scattered, disconnected, but consistent. 3 dogs at a car accident, 3 wolves near a lost hiker, 3 coyotes circling a building where someone inside hasn't been seen in days. Always 3, always watching, always arriving exactly when they're needed. Scientists study the patterns, debunk them, find rational explanations. Believers call them angels, spirits, divine intervention. Skeptics call them coincidence, luck, confirmation bias. But the rescued, the ones who blinked, who tapped, who sent 3 of anything into the world and got an answer, they know differently. They know that something is watching, something is listening. And when you signal into the void with enough intention, enough desperation, enough hope, sometimes the void signals back not with words, with witness, with 3 sets of eyes that refuse to look away, with the kind of attention that saves lives. The debate continues. The dogs don't participate. They're too busy hunting for the next signal, for the next person who needs to know. You are seen. You are heard. You are not alone. And that, in the end, is the only answer that matters.